Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I'm going to be talking about the second season of a show that I just did a review for the first season on, called Channel Zero. Oh, it's backwards. Channel Zero, excuse me. I didn't know that was going to happen. Anyway, the first season was called Candle Cove. This show is based around creepypasta. That's probably why that title sounds familiar if you happen to be watching this. This second season is based off a story called No End House. Now, unlike Candle Cove, I've never read that. So I don't know if that short story's any good. I don't know who wrote it, so I can't say the author's name here. Forgive me for that if you happen to be the author, and for whatever reason you happen to be watching this. No End House. No End House is the season we're going to be talking about. I really liked and loved, even, this season. It's not paced as fast as the first season and the fourth season. I've never seen the third season. Even to this point when I'm recording this, I've not seen the third season. It's called Butcher's Block. But the first season is very mysterious. It's more of like a mystery thriller type thing with some supernatural stuff involved. The fourth season is kind of a mystery, but more about just scary, straight up dark stuff about nightmares. I would say it's more nightmarish than any of the other seasons so far. This season is more of a Silent Hill type thing. And if you're a big fan of Silent Hill, more than you are of Goosebumps, I'd recommend this season before any of the other ones, because No End House is extremely creative, extremely spooky, but at the same time, this is more of a depressed Silent Hill 2 type thing, more than it is something like Silent Hill 4, where it's just disturbing and scary and freaky. It's not a jump scare type show. For anybody who hasn't seen Channel Zero, this is a better version of American Horror Story. Each season is its own thing. They're all based around one particular creepypasta story that the creators expand on and do some really cool stuff with. Each season's only 6 episodes long, for anybody who doesn't know that. It is extremely detailed, extremely creative, extremely well made. I would say it's some of the most well-directed and well-detailed writing shows I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they don't miss a single thing. Now, this season, if I had to rank the season so far, like season 1, 2, and 4. I haven't seen season 3, like I said. This would probably be at the bottom of my list currently, before seeing season 3. But only because they're all so different. Every season has been so different. The first season, again, very mystery-like. Second season is very Silent Hill depression-like, which I also love. The fourth season, very nightmarish. Probably my favorite, because it's so scary. And Pretzel Jack is just amazing. But we'll talk about Pretzel Jack later on down the road, God willing, if I get a chance to rewatch that season and talk about it. Now, No End House. What is this? Basically, there's a girl named Margot. She is our main character here. And she, like I said, these seasons are not connected whatsoever. They're all just kind of solidified to the 6 episodes in that one season. You don't have to worry about any references to the previous season or anything like that. Which I enjoy TV like that, because they have a lot more density to the episodes for 6 episodes long. They really don't fool around too much. Margot has a best friend named Jules who just came back from college for the summer break. And Margot's just kind of floating around the house. She doesn't really have a really good relationship with her mom. She had a really close, tight relationship with her dad. And her dad passed away about a year, I believe, or 2 years before the current story. And he died from an allergy from one of his medicines. I guess it's an allergy medicine, something like that. And he died of an allergic reaction, and she happened to be the one who found his body. And that part immediately got to me. I have a friend who had done the same thing, but in a very, very different situation. It hit me in a way that I felt for my friend, thinking about him, and it's kind of crazy, honestly. It's a shame when you have to be the kid that finds your parent like that, or a parent who finds your kid like that. And immediately with that bit of knowledge, this season's whole tone is very different from the first season. It's more about this girl trying to get on with her life. I would say the whole season is kind of based around that. Jules, her best friend, kind of ditched out on her, kind of just stopped trying to be there because she felt like her friend demanded too much from her, but she would never say that. Her actions spoke louder than her words. Her friend Jules, like I said, ended up kind of going away to college and didn't take her friend with her. She wanted her to go, but not the Margot that she had now. More like the one she grew up with. And the two of them get together this night. They decide to hang out and, sunbathe and stuff. The mom leaves and to go somewhere. I forgot what it was. Some kind of business trip, I guess. And Margot and her friend decide to go with Jules, the best friend. They decide to go with Jules to see a friend of hers. And this kid is kind of He's kind of a guy that wants to be cool. He wants to show off a little bit. He likes Jules a lot. And he also has another friend that they meet at this club type thing they go to. And his name is Seth. And Seth is kind of a strange, weird guy. Now, the friend that they went to meet, the weird guy that wants to be cool, I don't know his name. I think it was like Rick or Randy, something like that. Now, he told them about this place that showed up in their neighborhood, just out of nowhere. This house popped up out of absolutely nowhere. It's very much like a Stephen King type story. It feels like a Stephen King short story type thing. This house popped up out of nowhere. And apparently this house is called the No End House. And it pops up all over the country. All over the countries. It hasn't been to America in a very long time, apparently, like in a year. And it shows up for like, I think maybe a week or a night or something, and then it vanishes, right? So the thing with this No End House, when you walk up to it, it's kind of like a jump scare haunt house. Not haunted, but haunt house. You know, at Halloween time, you go in these places, you have people in costumes jump out at you, and these things like animatronics jump out at you and stuff, giant spiders a lot of the time, stuff like that. I'm petrified of stuff like that. But this is a very different type of house. The rumor is that there's 6 rooms, and that no one's ever made it through, or either nobody's ever made it to the 6th room without getting trapped in there and never getting out. Those people just vanish. Or people get so scared by the time they get to the 6th room, they don't go into the 6th room. And my personal idea, since like I said, each season is 6 episodes long, I assumed in my head that this would be, each room would be one of the episodes, and it would be kind of like an escape room type thing. It was not. It was not. The first episode, they do all of the rooms. Well, the first 5. The last room is the end of the episode. And I don't want to tell you too much, because I want you to have as many surprises as you possibly can. But we'll just leave it like this. What Margot and Jules go through in the 6th room is just creepy and atmospheric and eerie. Very Twilight Zone-like. But again, very Silent Hill-like. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be Silent Hill. Specifically Silent Hill 2, like I said. This show has so many people involved with it, like Max Landis, that have just done something amazing with this. It is genuinely a scary show. There are moments in this season that are scary. I would not say this season in total is scary. It's just an eerie, atmospheric show that just keeps building and building and building. One of the things that I think was genius about this season was the focus on grief, the focus on loss, the focus on Margot and how she's trying to get on with her life. One of the things that Margot and Jules, the best friend, see inside of the No End House when they go inside of it is on a door it says, "Beware the cannibals." And you kind of assume, okay, well, it's going to be some kind of jump scare thing. Again, Channel Zero is too smart to be a dumb jump scare show. It's not like TV, it's not like your typical horror movies that come out nowadays. This is not that. This is not an Annabelle movie. This is nothing like that. It's something that's actually smart and well done and well put together. And for 6 episodes, they take you on a ride that you don't expect, that you really don't expect it. And if you're somebody like myself who's lost somebody, like, for example, I lost my grandmother in 2015. I lived with her most of my life. This season gets messing with your head. The idea that, could you see them again? You know, like, as a Christian, yeah, I absolutely believe that, because she was saved too. But, I mean in the sense of, like, what would I do if I saw her again all of a sudden, while I was still in this life and not dead in the next life? What would I do? There are things like that this season focuses on, all this grief and this loss, and it just permeates in the veins of the show and really, really does something special with it. You have not seen something like this show has done before. You haven't. This season does grief and loss in a way that I could only compare it to Silent Hill 2, which is a masterpiece of that series. We all know that. Fans of Silent Hill, we know. We totally know. This season accomplished so much, in my opinion. It really knew what it wanted to do. The writers, the directors, everybody, they knew what they wanted to do, and they did something extremely special that I could not see another show doing. I could never see American Horror Story doing something impactful like this, something that would stick with me the rest of my life the way this did. And honestly, the last episode of the show, I can't believe what they did with that. I cannot believe how smart it was to make the decision they made for that. When you see it, if you watch the show on my recommendation, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm so heartbroken the fact that this show is canceled. I'm so heartbroken. It's so great. Everything about Channel Zero is amazing. It is just impeccably made. There's just no other word to describe how sad it is that of all the crap out there on TV, on Sci-Fi Channel of all things, which is where this was coming on at, who was making this, I can't believe that Sci-Fi Channel would cancel this, of all things. Now, mind you, it probably didn't have much of an audience, because I didn't know about it until the 4th season had already come and gone. And it's heartbreaking, the fact that it ended the way it did, because this show is probably one of my favorite TV shows, if not my very favorite TV show of recent memory, because it is just, it's everything I love about horror. It's everything I love about mystery. It's everything I love about atmosphere and spookiness. It's all of that stuff. And I think that if you're a Goosebumps fan, or if you were a Goosebumps fan growing up, I think you would just love this. I think it is everything you could possibly want it to be. Again, this season is not as scary as the previous season, but it has its moments. It has things you'll never forget, memory-wise. The definition of what cannibals are and what the metaphor is behind that, I love it. I think it is so smart. I think this whole season was just crafted in a way, and especially with the music. I talked about the music in the previous review for Season 1. Each season has its own kind of style soundtrack made for it. Not soundtrack, but the score made for it. And in this one, there's kind of like a tribal drums, but not the way you think it is. It's very methodical. And that's what really adds to this. When you have something in a tense situation happening, you just hear that really dark drum happening the way it does here. There's nothing like it. If you just want to hear what I'm talking about, not to have a spoiled scene for you or anything, just go on YouTube and type in the Channel Zero soundtrack or something and try to find Season 2's big theme song. I love it. And I think that the rooms that these guys went through in the No End house, the first one pretty much is what scared me the most, frankly, with the sculptures. I thought that was terrifying. The second room was kind of spooky too, frankly. But it might sound not as good as the first season or as the 4th season when I get around to doing that as a review here on the channel, God willing. This season might be the weakest of all of the 4 seasons by the time I see Season 3 and rewatch Season 4. I don't know, it might be, it might not be. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's amazing. Even if this is the weakest of the seasons for me personally, it might be your favorite because it's amazing. It is just, this show does not stop with how great it is. They realized that doing the 6-episode long season gave them so much more time to do better things and to make something compact, make something dense and smart and well made. They put a lot of thought into everything they did here, and it paid off. It paid off in the best possible way. It's a bizarre show. This season is very odd. Season 2 is a very, very, very odd episode, or season, based around this No End house thing. But I wouldn't change a thing about it. It's not my favorite thing ever, but I wouldn't change a thing about it. I think it is absolutely fantastic. Now, when it comes to this little box set, if you want to try out Channel Zero for the first time, I would recommend just going ahead and getting this. It has all 4 seasons in here. It's about 8 discs, I think. Something like that. Yeah, about 8 discs, I guess 2 for each season. This is amazing. And it again, I really hope that if people will, for some reason, watch this review or watch the previous video, the previous season's review, and that this would get big enough that people would check the show out and love it as much, where they could get Sci-Fi to make the show again. It deserves to be made. There's no politics to this show, which is one thing I was immediately satisfied with. With every single season I've seen, there hasn't been a single moment of politics. No statement on Trump, no statement on anything. Whereas I view the new Twilight Zone show, and that's all they talk about. Every single episode, that's all they talk about. They don't know what they're doing. This show, it made its own thing. It took the idea of American Horror Story's formula, and it did it better. Way better. I could not recommend Channel Zero enough to you if you haven't checked it. It is everything you could want if you're a horror fan. It's everything you could want if you want an adult Goosebumps type show, without each episode being its own thing. Each season is, but not every episode. But I love it. I cherish it. Again, the second season is kind of a little bit slower than the first and fourth seasons. I would say the pacing isn't as fast as those seasons, but it's still great. I wouldn't change a thing about it. If I had to rate this particular season, No End House, on a 5-star basis, I'd give it a really high 4 out of 5 stars. Just like I did with the first season, Candle Cove. I couldn't change anything about it. I love it to death. I think it is so perfectly made. I think there was so much, once again, so much passion put into every single detail in this show. It's amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing to me that people cared as much as they did about making this show and that they made it as well as they did. It deserves as much praise as I can possibly give it, and I could not recommend it more to you. Have you seen Channel Zero? Have you seen this particular season? What did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you for watching, guys. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. If you took my recommendation for any of this show, the first season, the second season, or the fourth season, which is still my favorite currently, have you checked it out? If you did, off my recommendation, please let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about whether you're happy that I recommended it to you. Did you hate it? What did you think? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching, guys. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.